So, my question to you today is, what is the story you're telling yourself? I should probably be looking here. What is the story that you are telling yourself?
TikTok, all stop.
Welcome back, guys, to the Dr. Shai Show. We are here today, and today we're talking about story. So my question is, again, what is the story that you're telling yourself? I'll go into a little story of my own. So a few years ago, I'm going to stop saying so, I promise, but whatever, it's fine. A few years ago, I was on kind of think of like the hamster on the wheel. I was on no, not a hamster on the wheel, more like on a journey, just on a journey. I was on a journey, right? I'm still on a journey. But moving forward, I was telling myself a story, okay? And that story was how old was I? 17 years old. At 17 years old, I was a senior in high school, and it was May 2008, and I was graduating with my associate's degree. So I was telling myself, I'm like, girl, go ahead, you 17, about to graduate with your associate's degree. Next month, you're gonna graduate with your high school diploma. Like, you're gonna get one before the other. Like, you the shit, girl. So I was telling myself this story, like, okay, you the shit. So then after that, right, I'm still telling myself this story. Then I enter the bachelor's program at Ohio University. And I finish it by 19 years old. So now I'm really feeling myself, because now I'm 19 with a bachelor's degree. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a year off. I'm gonna relax for a year, because then if I relax for a year, I'm still gonna be able to finish before the time that I was supposed to finish, right? So I took a year off, and then at 20, 21 or something, 20, I don't know. I entered the master's program, right? And I finished the master's program at 22 years old. So now I'm really feeling myself, and I really got this real good story going, and I'm like, girl, you is the shit. Like, you 22 years old, you got a master's degree, you know, people pump me up, like, oh, go ahead, girl. I'm like, thank you, I'm doing it, right? And so I take a week off, and then I enter the doctorate program. Because now I'm on this like high. I'm like, I got it. Like, I can keep going. I ain't taking a year off. That year was too long. I sat on the porch for 2 months doing nothing. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and take a week off. So I took a week off, entered the doctorate program, right? Still going good. Everything's great. So I'm moving forward, right? And now it's been 2 years since I've been in the master's program.
Correction doctorate program.
And I finished all the coursework, right? So after the coursework, well, the last class between the coursework and the research part is called your prospectus. So you know what an outline is, right? And for those of you who don't, if you're a little younger, whatever, an outline is basically an outline. It's going to outline a bigger project. And so this entire course was centered around doing an outline for my research, right? So I take this course. And midway through the course, I realized that my grade is dropping. Now I'm confused, because I'm an A student, right? And I'm like, why is my grade dropping? So I emailed the teacher. I said, hey, I realized that my grade was dropping. What's going on? So he says, well, your writing isn't good. I said, my writing isn't good? He said, yeah, your writing isn't good. I said, okay, well, what's wrong with my writing? Like, I said, do I write the way that I talk? Because some people say I sound white and some people say I sound black. It just depends on who you talk to. I don't know. Some people say I sound a little ghetto. Some people say I sound a little proper. I don't be knowing which one is which. It depends. It just really depends on who it's coming from. So I said, do I write like I talk? And he was like, it just isn't good. I said, okay, are there grammatical errors? are my periods and commas out of place? Like, and he's like, I mean, your writing just isn't good. I said, well, I'm sure there's some way that I can fix it. So, like, could you just tell me, like, what to do? Like, I'll do it. Like, I don't have a problem with doing it, right? So he's like, your writing isn't good. So I'm like, okay. So we have about 5 to 6 weeks left in the class, right? And I'm emailing him throughout. Now, mind you, these emails turn into like a monologue because I'm now talking to myself because he's what? He's ignoring me. Yeah. So we get to the end of the course and I get an F. Now, an F in Shai's world is not good because growing up, I wouldn't say abused. Hi, Mom. I would say like I just couldn't bring home less than a B. So I found myself like years ago, like at 9 years old in 4th grade, I remember specifically Miss Mitchell's class. I got a C in religion. And I remember my mom always telling me throughout grade school that, you know, do not come in this house with less than a B. And you need to have more A's than B's. And if you come with less than a B, I'm gonna beat your ass. Yeah, that's what she said. So here I am at 9 years old negotiating with Miss Mitchell. I'm like, Miss Mitchell, you gotta understand, like, I can't take this C home because my mom is gonna whoop me and I don't wanna whoop it and I can't go to the house with this C. So how do we, like at 9 years old, I'm like, how do we work together? Like I'm tearing eyes, I'm tears going down my face. I'm like, how do we work together? Like, can I do extra work? Can I do something? Like, what can I do? Because I can't take the C home. So I didn't take a C home, I took a B home. So mind you, now at this high level, the doctorate program, I had tried to negotiate with teacher, not necessarily a negotiation because at this point I understand that I'm responsible for doing the work. So I'm like, I'm literally asking you, what do I do to make this whole thing better? Like, how do I get better? I get the F and that's that. So now I have to retake the class. So I retake the class with a different teacher, right? And I realized that the syllabus is exactly the same. So you know what LeShai did? She took all the work that she turned in from the previous class and she turned it into this class, to this new teacher. And at the end of that class, I got a B. So I talked to the teacher afterwards and I tell her, I said, I just took this class and I failed it, which is why I retook it. I said, but I realized that the syllabus was the same. So I literally turned in the exact same work. I didn't change anything. I said, he said that my writing wasn't good. So why is it that you gave me a B? And she said to me, oh, there's nothing wrong with your writing. It's more the structure. Like paragraph 2 should have been paragraph 4, like just the structure of it. I said, the structure? She said, yeah, the structure, that's it. I said, oh, okay, the structure, got it. So my writing isn't that bad, got it, okay. So now, I'm finished with the prospectus and now I'm entering the research part. So now I'm all but dissertation. I just have the research left. So my chair introduces me to the class. Hey, everybody. Or your chair is your person who oversees your research. She says, hey, everybody, you know, this is LeShai. She's ready to get going. She's getting started. Welcome her into the class. So everybody's like, hey, girl, welcome. You know, we're excited to have you here. A year and a half later, I realized that I have not opened got my little beast mode going on. I realized that I haven't opened my research up for a year and a half. And then it started to dawn on me that I had started to tell myself a new story. And that new story completely took me out of the loop or whatever you want to call it. And that new story that I realized that I was telling myself was a lot of other stories that had came across my path throughout life that I was trying to shut out and I was trying to keep away from me. But then that one thing, when I got to the top, I made an agreement with his statement to me, which was, your writing isn't good enough. And I accepted it as my writing isn't good enough. But what was really going on was this. And it was after a year that I realized that, hey, you haven't done anything. And I said, oh crap, you're right, I haven't done anything. I haven't looked at that document since I retook the class. Because even though I retook the class and I passed the class, it was something about the words that he said to me when he said, your writing isn't good enough, that I took and I internalized and I said, my writing isn't good enough. It was something about those words that triggered another piece of me, another side of me, something deeper in me. It was something about those words that said, hey, you're a black girl from Cleveland. Your writing is not enough. It was something about those words that said, hey, you like twerking and hip hop dance. You like going out and having a good time. Your writing isn't good enough. It was something about those words that said to me, girl, your hair is curly and short and you got that blonde piece in the back. That don't say doctor. Your writing isn't good enough. It was something about those words that said, girl, ain't nobody in your family ever did nothing like this. What you think you doing? Your writing isn't good enough. It was something about those words that said, oh, you think you better than us? You think because you getting your doctorate that you doing something in life? Girl, you just like everybody else. Your writing isn't good enough. It was something about those words that resonated so deep in me that made me feel like I could not even look at the document, at the words that I had wrote on the page, because my writing wasn't good enough. My writing wasn't good enough. I realized that I had let his words hit me in such a way that I made an agreement with those words to say that I wasn't enough, because that's really what I was saying. I was saying to myself that because of the way I wear my hair, because of the way I talk, because I love to twerk, because of the way I walk, because of the things I say, because of the things I do, because of the way I wear my hair, that my writing wasn't good enough. And that maybe I was doing something that was beyond myself. Maybe I was dreaming just a little bit too high. Have you ever came up with an idea that you said to yourself, I can do this, but then someone else told you that that's stupid, that's not gonna work? What made you ever think that that would be something that you could do? And you told yourself that maybe they were right. You went back to that part of you, that little piece of you, that little boy in you, that little girl in you that said, you're not enough, that you didn't get it right, that it's not gonna work. Have you ever told yourself that something you desired wasn't enough, that you couldn't do it, that how could you get to the top of your game and think that you can go any higher? I realized that those were the words that I was telling myself. But then I also realized that I had this gut feeling of being a doctor, and that desire would not be there if it was not my truth. Meaning that if you desire something, it's for you, it's in you, it's yours, and that no one can stop you outside of you, and that the most important thing is the story that you are telling yourself. And so I remember I was watching a video by Lisa Nichols, and she said in there, she said, quitters never win and winners never quit. Well, I had accepted myself to be a winner. And I said, well, you started this, you gotta finish it. Because what? Quitters never win and winners never quit. And so I had to tell myself that story. I recorded myself telling myself who I was and who I knew myself to be. And I started to go to sleep with it every night. And when I would get up in the morning, I started to realize that I had this sense of courage. I had this sense of I can. I had this sense of I will. I had this sense of I must. Okay? Because the little girl that I knew at 7 years old that said, I want to be a doctor, and a lawyer, and a gymnast, and a hairstylist, and a nail artist, and an actress. I want to do all of that. And you know what? My grandma said that I could. So guess what? I can, because I can. And guess what? You can too. So the question is, what story are you telling yourself? I started to tell myself a new story. And the story started to come to life. And so I said I had to get refocused. And so what I did was I went from LA. Oh, shit. That's my time. your writing isn't good enough. That was the story, along with all the other stories, that I started telling myself. And it kept me from progressing for a year and a half. So my question to you today is, what is the story, or what are the stories that you're telling yourself in each area of your life, if you will? Take a piece of paper out right now. Just take a piece of paper out. If you don't got a paper, take out your phone, open your notes, and list out put spiritual, put finances, put relationships, put health. And then in each category, write down the story that you're telling yourself. Do you like the story that you're telling yourself in all of those categories? And if you don't like it, as you can see, as I didn't, because it put a halt in my process. That story that I begin to tell, that second story that I begin to tell myself. So I'm asking you now, is it your health? Are you doing everything that you want to do, or are you slacking? Is it your finances? Are they in order, or are they slacking? Are your relationships? Could you be doing better? Could you be doing personal development? Could there be more forgiveness? Spirituality, could you be closer to whoever you believe in, or whatever practices you practice? Could you be doing it more routinely? What are the stories that you're telling yourself? And more importantly, what are those stories that other people told you that you made an agreement with? Like that time you were singing and you thought you sounded real good, but then your sister was like, shut up, you sound horrible. And then for the rest of your life, or for the years on, you only do karaoke because you don't feel like you sound good. But everybody at karaoke be like, you actually can sing. And it's like, but that voice in the side of you is like, no, but you sound like shit. Because remember, your sister had said that, or your brother had said that. That one hit, that's hit right. Sorry, the mic right there, but that hit right there. Other stories, any story that someone may have told you that you are stupid, or that you can't read, or that you might stutter or something. It may be a verbal thing, or that you're out of shape, or that you're too skinny, or that you're just simply not enough. Because that's what really the story became in my mind, was I wasn't enough. And every little thing that said that I wasn't enough rose to the surface. So I'm challenging you right now to take the time out to rewrite those stories, because you owe it to yourself. I didn't know that in 2017, when I made this video, I didn't know how I was going to finish my degree. I didn't know that I was actually going to finish, but I had the goal set. And then I had to start telling myself a new story. And so after you write all of that down, then write mantras out for each section and read those mantras. Record it and listen to it throughout the day, in the morning when you get up, and especially at night right before you go to bed. Turn it on. Replay yourself listening to yourself as you're falling asleep. It's called neuro-linguistic programming, or reprogramming, or something like that. Look it up. Type it in Google, it'll help you out. But it'll help you to refocus and recenter, where your conscious mind is not telling you all the bad stuff. It's getting more in your subconscious mind. Let that marinate. Go to sleep to it. Marinate it in you. Because that story, that new story, is your real story. I'm a doctor now. Okay, I'm a doctor now. So you guys are reading here. I'm a little teary-eyed. So he said this, yeah. Congratulations. Oh wait, it's a little blurry. Congratulations, your dissertation is approved. I'm entering it into the system, Dr. Costley. And I'm like, sir, great, thank you. Is that a verbal, Dr. LeShai? And then he just emailed me back. But and like I don't have words, because wow. Okay guys, my name's Dr. LeShai Reneé Hunt. I entered this program in 2013. And so much has happened. This is crazy. Yeah, thank you to my support and everybody who just kept believing, and thank you too for those who were like, bitch, why are you still in school? That's my story, because as a little girl, I told myself that that's what I was going to do. And in the midst of that, I stopped because of the stories. So those things, those goals, those missions that you were on or that you're on, that you have all these little stories, change the narrative, change the story, because it's your story. So I'm going to stop talking now and let you do the work. But the thing is, you got to do the work. Don't be afraid of the work. But I love you, and I thank you, and I want to say, it was great to be in your home today, or your office, in your car, wherever you're listening at, in the shower, I don't know. Don't be selfish with this video. Make sure you send it to someone. Be like, hey girl, you know, I thought about you today. I heard this. I was listening to this show called Dr. Shai Show, and she said something to me, and it was really good, and I just really thought that you should take a listen. Or be like, babe, you really need to watch this. Like, watch the whole thing, okay? So we're gonna see you next time. I'm excited to see you next time. And whatever we talk about, again, that's what we're gonna talk about. But again, it's gonna be what? It's gonna be good. Matter of fact, we're gonna change that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be phenomenal. So keep going. I'm trying to figure out what's next. I know we're gonna cut it.